InspiraTeVe, where we create a fusion of the mind and the soul. I am your host, Paloma Greer. This is this show that is creating consciousness, that is provoking thought, and hopefully we are inspiring you to live to your fullest potential. Today, we're going to explore a social issue, homelessness. For those that live in Chicago, you know that this is an epidemic. But whose fault is it? Is it the system? What's happening on the other side? Well, we're gonna take you on this journey straight to the streets with our cameras, and we're gonna find out what's really happening. That's coming up next.
I've been out here for like 4 years now. It's really hard being out here. You gotta have tough skin, you know? There's a lot of screwed up people out here. So if you're not tough, the streets will make you tough. I tried to get welfare once, but I found that you gotta have a permanent address in order to get any help, and well, so much for that, right? That's, isn't it? The only way that the government will help you is if you already have a home. I know a lot of people ask me, why don't I just go to a shelter? But what they don't realize, what they don't understand is that the shelters are more dangerous than the streets sometimes. And after a few weeks, they're only going to kick you out anyway, so what's the point? Sometimes I get to, if I'm lucky, I get to stay over like a friend's house or somebody that I recently meet, and what's cool about that is that I get to stay long enough just so that they let me clean up, even if it's just for a little while. I get to clean up before I go back out on the streets. Have you ever felt like there's like a fork in the road and you gotta make a decision, but sometimes there's really no decision to make because those decisions are already made for you. I know that they say that we got free will, but I don't believe that. No. I think we do what we do because that's how we're programmed. And I don't mean like programmed at birth, no. I mean like the stuff that we get exposed to, like the stuff that we see when we're growing up, the stuff that we're surrounded by that is like in our heads, and the voices that we hear shout to you, you're nothing but a whore, or I'll pay you $20 if you once I got to spend a weekend with this rich guy. He was like a judge or something, I don't know, but we did dinner, and there was like 2 forks. It was class, and he had like a whirlpool and a lot of rooms, and there was like art on his walls. It was really nice. And then the next day I pulled half a slice of pizza out of the garbage. It was warm. What's your story?
According to the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless, there are approximately 140,000 homeless people living in the streets of Chicago. Thousands of them are students and young adults. These numbers continue to grow year after year. Did you know that 30% of the homeless population in Chicago is youth? 62% are victims of some sort of abuse. About 38% of these children were neglected by their parents. Over 60% of the homeless population in Chicago has substance abuse issues or mental illnesses. According to the Chicago Public Schools, about 22,000 students are currently homeless in Chicago.
Ain't no sunshine within the hearts of men. The light is burned out to let the darkness in. I guess this is where it all starts and ends. Social conditions got me looking at the world through a Marxist lens. Trains of thought run back and forth in my mind. I ride these trains back and forth, 95th to Howard on the red line. And I see people who ain't got no place to go. Seeds that ain't got no space to grow. Every man deserves a home, but the banks don't think that every man deserves a loan. We all serve, but some serve alone, 'cause it ain't no sunshine.
You ever hear me play, dog? You know who I am.
What instrument do you play?
I play, my major instrument is trumpet, but I ain't got no teeth no more. I can't play the trumpet.
Oh, you need teeth for the trumpet? I thought you just need wind.
If you give me a keyboard or guitar, I'll show you who I am. Ask Buddy Guy.
You don't miss your instruments?
Ask Buddy Guy who I am.
Do you miss instruments? What do you make them?
Oh, I'm gonna make some change of it.
This is how we do it. This is our instruments at home.
Hey, I need a piano. Casio piano. If you guys can give me a Casio piano with an amplifier, I'll show you who I am.
I can get you some timbales.
Oh, girl. She's trying to make some money. Go, girl. Bring her, baby. Okay. My name is Ronnie Davis.
Ronnie Davis.
Born and raised in Chicago. I grew up in Cabrini Greens, left Cabrini Greens, and went to the South Side. I had a lot of gigs that I played with. I met a woman by the name of Miss Ramsey, by the name of Ramsey Lewis.
Ramsey Lewis.
Keyboard player. It's all from Cabrini Green.
Wow.
But in 1117, 1119, in the basement, they had church. And when they had church, when you bring your kids there, the woman had a handkerchief and she had a scrap. There ain't no talking, none of that. So that's how I got into music. But anyway, I'm gonna do this song here.
Okay.
It's called Homegoing. It goes like this. When you hear of my home going, don't you worry about me. But when you hear of my home going, don't you worry about me. But I said, love, yeah, my home going. Don't you worry about me. Just don't you worry about me.
Woo! Awesome. Thank you for that.
Well, I thank y'all for listening, man. So what you want to know about
All right. Well, introduce us to your home. Obviously, this is your bed.
Obviously, it is where I lay my head.
It's where your living room, your bedroom, where you lay your head at night.
It's all of the above, and I'm telling you, I'm like the postman. Winter, spring, fall, or
You don't take a day off.
I'm right there.
So, no, this is really what I want to know. You told us you were a music teacher.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you go from being a music teacher in a classroom, educating people, helping them to find their talent, as you obviously have tons of talent, how do you go from that to here?
Okay, here's a little.
Yes.
Short story long. A long story short, it's this. I was in Europe. I was playing with a guy by the name of Michael Jackson. I was the lead trumpet player for him.
Were you really?
I fell off the stage because I was too high off of crack cocaine. Listen to me. I went to Budapest, India. I went to China. I went to Australia. I did all the things with him. But listen to what I'm trying to tell you. That all the things that you have, how can I tell you where I've been if you've never been there? But here's one thing for certain, two things for sure. If you have addiction, that addiction takes you someplace you really don't want to go, and they have a way of keeping you longer than you really want what? Stay. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And all that and make you spiral back. They say the same ladder you climb up, you see the same people as you go down. You better believe I seen that.
Does that happen to you a lot?
Huh?
A lot of people show love.
No,
like that?
that's my home.
That's your homegirl?
She come by, her and the husband, they look out for me, and
That's beautiful.
I got a guy right here, he give me charcoal, right? I got keys for charcoal, the big bags. They come, you got a lot of people that, here's the thing. Some homeless people are trying to do the right thing to make it in life, all right? I'm trying to be one. I used to be a ML back in the day. But right now I'm trying to do the right thing. And as people see me trying to elevate myself, as I'm trying to elevate myself and to speak to them and talk to them, they said, you inspire me. Every time I see you smiling, you're always uplifted. Yeah, I got to be uplifted because there's some people that didn't wake up. I'm laying right here, look, on concrete. You see, some people can't get up off the concrete. They can't scratch their face, can't do nothing, can't go to the bathroom. But I can. I thank the Lord for that.
Life can be really dangerous out here.
Life is dangerous out
Right,
here.
but why do you choose to continue to be out here? Is
Why I choose?
it in the sense of, have you tried going to the shelters?
Yes, I have.
And
When you go in the shelters, you got some guys that supposed to be righteous, supposed to be cleaned up from all this stuff here that I'm going through.
right.
They gang banging, they doing what they're doing, right? But if you say something derogatory to them, other than the policy of the facility, you didn't do nothing against the facility. He didn't like what you said.
Got
You
it.
barred out of here.
I
You see what I'm saying?
So you've been out here for a very long time.
Off and on.
So how much longer do you think you're going to be out here? Do you think that situation is going to change? Or do you think
No, it's not going to change for me. I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because I
Yes.
think I'm going to die out here on the street.
What do you guys think?
Oh, that was pretty heavy and intense, don't you think?
Wasn't it?
It was. It was so enlightening, like almost surreal. I had this one perspective, and then when I actually had the opportunity to talk with them, you saw when we were out there in the streets, it was just completely different than what I actually anticipated the answers to be.
I'm gonna be straight up honest. I had a whole different perspective, and talking to these guys, coming straight to the source, gave me a whole different horizon.
It did.
It really left me thinking, are they comfortable where they are, or is it really the system that is broken? What do you think? What do you get from your interviews?
Well, from the interviews, what I gathered was it's almost like a defeatist mentality. It's like they've gotten to a point, as you know from the interviews, we saw that a couple of them have been out there for 15 years, the other gentleman for over 23 years, and then they talked about people who had been in the streets for like 3 decades. And it's almost like where they didn't know about the resources, and then it made me think, well, what are the resources doing, like that grassroots system of going to the streets so people know? It's not like they have access to television or radio necessarily, where they know about the resources that are out there. But then on the flip side, some people know about them, some people don't. And it's like they don't care. They have this resolve inside of them where they feel like maybe in the beginning of their life on the streets, they felt like, they were trying to get help, going to the shelters, and then all of a sudden they became complacent. They just had this mentality, this resolve that nothing's gonna change, and I'm just gonna get used to sitting out here. And you know what? My life is not that bad. I get fed every day, more food than I know what to do with. That the shelf life of food is only so long, so they wind up having to share it with the other community that's under the bridge. And I thought that was fascinating because I'm over here thinking that they're starving.
You mentioned something really interesting. When you say, they kind of become comfortable with what it is. And that's such an important point to touch, because I think that people stick with what's familiar to them. Absolutely. On the other hand, how our community or our resources are reaching out to them. So there's a little bit of
give and take here, right? Where's the balance?
Absolutely. We actually have coming up next another interview with a couple that are actually trying to get out of homelessness. Let's take a look and let's see the contrast on this interview next.
What's up, everyone? This is Jaime De Leon for InspiraTeVe. Check it out. Last time I talked to you, I was in Little Village in Pilsen. We were hanging out, on 26th Street, saw some cool stuff, music, good food. But there's another side to the neighborhood, a side that people don't always see, and that's the side where people are struggling. Like today, we're here on the southwest corner of Little Village, 31st Street, near Cicero, very industrial area. And we came across some folks who are really down on their luck, actually living underneath right here, the 31st Street Bridge. So we wanted to know more about who they are, why their lives came to be like this at this point, and maybe figure out a way of connecting them to some real resources to try and just help them a little bit, even if we can do that. So we're gonna go visit them right now. We've actually made contact with them before. Check it out. Oye, y dinos, a ver, cuéntanos un poco más, como nos estabas contando, tu nombre y cuántos años tienes.
No, yo tengo 41.
¿Sí?
41, aquí ya llevo, aquí en el puente ya llevo como unos, ¿qué será? Unos 3 años, creo. 4. Nos corren por la misma gente.
Ah, ustedes son los que vivían en el puente, no les puedo rentar. ¿Cuál es el problema? No les vamos a hacer mal en vivir aquí.
Sí.
Vamos a rentar, él les está pagando el depósito y la renta y la casa está bien.
La gente, lo que pasa es que la gente sabe que venimos del puente y a muchos no nos dejan quedarnos en las casas porque saben que vivimos en el puente.
Aunque tengan el dinero para pagar.
Ajá,
Otro día estábamos rentando aquí en la esquina y llegamos un día, hace cuenta que hoy en la mañana llegamos y en la noche nos corrieron luego.
¿Y de dónde es usted
Yo
original?
soy del Distrito Federal y ayer dejé una señora, pero me vine aquí para hacerles una feria, pero la señora me juzgó mal y ya no regresé. Así que cada quien por su lado ya.
¿Hace cuánto?
Hace 11 años. Tengo 11 años en Chicago ya. Está muy duro la situación, estando aquí está muy duro la situación. Y mucha gente piensa que somos viciosos o algo.
Sí.
Pero en realidad ellos no saben cómo uno vive, la verdad.
Entonces es como quien dice una comunidad por aquí de gente viviendo.
Es una comunidad, pero de pura gente de la calle que hace cuenta que no tiene familia. Como se cuenta que como en México dicen los recaídos. Sí, la mayoría están acá, pues están solos. O sea, como quien dice que no tienen familia, porque me digas, viven solos. Pueden irse para allá, pueden quedarse donde ellos quieran, ¿por qué? Porque no tienen familia. Sí, por eso están solos allá también.
Podemos quedar un poco como tiene aquí su lugarcito que lo tiene como una recámara.
Sí, pues aquí estamos, desgraciadamente pues que caiga un buen trabajo, ya salimos más adelante. Pero digo que la gente piensa que, ay, esos muchachos cómo viven y no sé qué, mira, pero
pues sí, ¿no?
Pues desgraciadamente somos iguales.
Sí.
Nomás que la diferencia digo que ellos viven allá.
Me imagino que está que no tienen papeles.
No, si tuviera papeles estuviera en un buen trabajo.
Y no hay manera de hacer la aplicación, ¿no?
No.
Ahorita.
No hay nada de papeles que piden ellos. No tengo nada.
Oh.
Y no.
¿Ningún tipo ni de México?
Nada de documentos. Los perdí todos. Todos los perdí. Sí, todos los perdí. Que los perdí porque estaba en el vicio.
¿Y para recuperarlos?
Tengo que mandarle a decirle a la señora de México que me los vuelva a mandar.
¿Y no tienes otra familia acá?
No, aquí no tengo familia. No, aquí soy solo. Sí, aquí yo soy solo.
Como quien dice, está mejor acá, aunque esté debajo de un puente, que en México.
Está mejor aquí, sí, está mejor aquí, 100% aquí.
¿Pero por qué si andas debajo de un puente? ¿Cómo?
No, ves que ya no hay posibilidad, allá te pagan menos. Y aquí tienes la posibilidad de sacar un poquito más y puedes comerte lo que tú quieras. Y allá no te vas a comer lo que tú quieras. Allá simplemente una hamburguesa, ¿cuánto te vale? 70 pesos, 80 pesos, aquí te vale 10 pesos. De aquí lo sacas rápido y te comes la hamburguesa. Allá no. Esa es la posibilidad que tenemos, que es más fácil la vida aquí que allá.
Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. Today we are exploring homelessness. And as you saw earlier, Tamika conducted a very insightful interview, and we just saw another different perspective. So as you can see, there's a little bit of both. Would you agree to say that some are kind of comfortable where they are?
Absolutely. Some are definitely resolved and comfortable with it.
Where others are trying to come out of homelessness. So you think about it.
Welcome to my segment Wired at Heart. I'm your host, Dr. Marina Kostina, connections and energy expert. And what a profound and interesting discussion we just had with Paloma and Tamika about homelessness. Makes me wonder why people who are not really happy with their lives still maintain their status quo. Today we're going to talk about that exact thing. Why, even when we try to do something better for ourselves, we're pulled back by so-called ricochet effect.
So why does life slap you hard when you want to be good to yourself? The answer is the ricochet effect. This is a term I borrowed from Megan Hamilton, who is one of my spiritual mentors. While new things and events pique curiosity in our brain, we're all wired for familiar and comforting things. In order to survive, our brain likes to form habits, even those that do not serve us, like being broke or attracting abusive partners. Habits help us through the day, eliminating the need to think deeply about small tasks, like brushing our teeth, making a pot of coffee, or driving. Blame it all on ganglia. All patterns live in basal ganglia, a brain region that is critical to habits, addiction, and procedural learning. Important neural activity patterns of this portion of the brain change when habits are formed, and change again when habits are broken. However, they quickly reemerge when something rekindles the existing habit, routines that originally took great effort to learn. The universe responds. Energetically, since we attract what we are, once we want to break an old habit and start caring for ourselves, life seems to resemble a rubber band. Once you want to get rid of the old habits, you are presented with the situations that push you back into your patterns. It is almost like the ricochet effect tests you to see whether you will go back to the familiar, easy, or paved road, or be willing to dive full force into the realm of the unknown. In tarot, the card of new beginnings is represented by the Fool. Interestingly, to see the path of these new beginnings is depicted on this card as a cliff. The Fool is looking upward and is about to step off a cliff. Starting a new path does feel like standing on that cliff, as we don't know about the consequences of our actions. Even if the change is positive, like getting married, we can still feel elements of fear as we're fundamentally making a change and the consequences of that change are still unknown to us. Psychology research suggests that we generally like to be able to anticipate consequences. That's why the act of falling can be so frightening. We don't know what to expect when we land. That is also why, when you try to quit your old habits and start a new path, life seems to present you with unpleasant experiences, like unexpected bills, a breakup, sickness, pain, anything to push you back into your old patterns, into your safe zone. So we get distracted from our main goals and take that job instead of sticking with our business. Get a rebound instead of moving on towards a better relationship. Finding an excuse to pick up that cigarette. Experiencing loss so we can start drinking again. And so on. All of these immediate reactions to the uncomfortable, unknown, create a self-fulfilling prophecy that nothing works and nothing will ever change. The only way to go through the ricochet effect is to go through it. Going through this rough time could be hard, but you need to keep going, knowing that it eventually will end, and a new, better habit will be formed as a result. This new habit, like the old one that once controlled you, can start helping you create better circumstances. I personally had many ricochet times in my life, and I got pulled back into my old mess many times too. Only when I changed my beliefs and had enough bravery to address what was blocking me inside, as I used to blame it all on circumstances, only then was I able to push through and change my old story.
So what do you guys think? Pretty interesting perspectives, right? We got to see a little bit of what's going on in the streets straight from the source. And of course, we have a broken system. But what can we do individually to help with this social issue? The thing is, we all have to do something about this issue. We need to come together because at the end of the day, we're all affected. Well, that's all for me today. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. We'll definitely see you next time right here on Channel 25. Remember, feed your mind, feed your soul, and stay inspired. Until next time.
I gotta give Kevin Wood performance.
Yeah. Of course, the road assistant. No, it's just la faja. Faja fantástica. Blooper. Es para, you know?
¿Para qué?
Bonita. Just